everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. My name is Mashaya, and this is a topic that I was debating on whether or not I wanted to touch on this topic, especially because I know it's being talked about a lot right now, but I feel like it's a lot more that I have to share other than the surface level things, that people have been talking about when it comes to lukewarm Christianity. So let me start off by saying this. I grew up in the church. And I left the church for over 10 years. And I just recently started going back to church. I've realized that growing up in the church is completely different than going to church as an adult. When you grow up in church, I don't want to say you're forced, like it's a bad thing. This squirrel is walking up to me. Oh my gosh, I am so scared. Y'all, this squirrel literally almost walked up to me. I didn't know if it was gonna attack me or what. I'm not saying that growing up in church is a bad thing, because obviously it's not. To have, those godly principles, the morals and values and all of that instilled in you, it's never a bad thing. But when you're young, you go to church for the wrong reason. You go to church to see your friends. You go to church to go to children's church, or to see that little boy you got a crush on, or that little girl you got a crush on. You know what I'm saying? To go to first and second service. You don't really go to get the word of God, because you're too young. You don't know, you don't understand. And you also look at, the adults kind of crazy for how they choose to praise and worship, because you don't understand the trials and tribulations that they deal with, that they go through, that they've, overcome. So it's a totally different perspective. And so now, being a grown woman in the church, like I said, especially after so long of not being in the church, I just have a whole different outlook, a whole different perspective of church itself, of my relationship with God, and how important it is to me. After 10 years of not being in church at all, coming back to church, I took a new approach. I now attend a non-denominational church, which I've never been to before. I've never been to a non-denominational church, but I can tell you that you can instantly tell the difference. As soon as you walk in the building, you can tell the atmosphere is so much, it's so different going into a non-denominational church versus all the other denominations. And something that my apostle helped me understand immediately was that denominations are man-made. He's like, I don't believe in denominations. That's man-made. You don't see denominations anywhere in the Bible. And in one of his recent, sermons, he said to the congregation that, a day's gonna come when these people pass away, and they're gonna realize heaven don't have sections. Heaven don't have Baptist. Heaven don't have a Baptist section. Heaven don't have a Pentecostal section. Like that doesn't exist. And it really opened my mind and opened my eyes. Like, that's wild. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll think that that's obvious, but it's people out here that think that denominations matter. Like, that's what matters over just the relationship with God itself, And so I'm so happy that he opened my eyes to that. He's like, yeah, I I don't believe in that. We're a non-denominational church. I'm an apostle. She's a prophet. We believe in, you know, getting the prophetic word out to you all, and, you know, making you all knowledgeable of God's teachings and his principles and stuff. And the message is delivered differently as well. That's something else I noticed. In a non-denominational church, the word is delivered differently. They focus on different things. They're not so much focused on like the worldly stuff and attacking people, because sometimes the churches that we're typically used to, they focus on, y'all know what and I feel like y'all know what I'm saying, like they focus more on calling out this sinner and that sinner and this, instead of teaching the Bible. That's what we're here, that's what the people are here for. They're here to be taught like what's in the Bible. Teach me the principles, the morals, the values. Teach me, train me in the way that I'm supposed to go, rather than coming in here and making your sermon about just bashing all of these people. So the message is delivered differently. It's non-denominational. The music is different. I walked in that church and I have yet to hear a song that I already know. I have yet to hear a song that I already know. From the first day I stepped in that church, the songs are good. Like they're amazing. They're phenomenal. Songs that I've never heard. It feels less performative. It feels it's way less performative. Or I should say, just the church that I go to. I'm gonna say that. Let me just say the church that I go to. It's not performative. They ain't doing the most. They ain't doing all this extra stuff. It's not performative whatsoever. Of course, the Holy Spirit is there. It moves all of us, but it's not performative. It's not forced. Like a lot of churches, you know, they tend to do that. They force it with the music. They force it, you know, when they lay hands on you. But my apostle and my prophet, they don't do that. I love the diversity of the congregation. That's also a beautiful thing to me. Growing up in church, I'm so used to, you know, predominantly black churches. But just stepping in there, it felt like I was back in school. It felt like I was in school, or, you know, back in college, where it's just so diverse. And it wasn't just one view or one perspective or, you know, any of that. And even though we are such a diverse congregation, it still feels like family. They welcome me with open arms my first time there. What I'm realizing now as a grown woman, you know, in this intentional walk with Christ and with God, really seeking him, really wanting to be intimate with him and really know his word for real this time around, I'm learning that it's not just the service. I can't pick and choose the principles, the morals, the values, the laws, the commandments. I can't pick and choose what's convenient for me. I can't pick and choose what's the easiest to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no going through the list and say, okay, God, I'll do this, but I don't want to do that. That's hard. I can't do that. I can't stop doing this. I don't want to stop that. I don't want to get this up. That's not how the kingdom works. And that's how a lot of us live. If we being honest, that's truly how a lot of us live. We pick and choose which one of his principles we want to abide by and what we want to follow, and, you know, what sounds good to us. It's not how the kingdom works. You have to abide by all of it. And that's not saying you have to be perfect. We'll never be perfect. We're human. But it's your heart posture. Are you even trying? Or, you know what I'm saying, are you making excuses and abusing his grace for you, his mercy for you, you know, and your sins? Because that's another thing. It's not good to abuse that grace, because You know, it's gonna come a day where, I don't want to say he run out of grace, but it's just gonna be, you know what I'm saying, he gonna have to teach you the hard way. Whatever you're abusing, you know what I'm saying, neglecting, disrespecting, whatever, whichever one of his principles it is, he gonna show you the hard way. And I don't want that. Like, I don't want that. I know, I can acknowledge I will never be perfect, but I refuse to abuse God's grace. I refuse to abuse the mercy that he has on me in my life. Another part of lukewarm Christianity that a lot of us probably ain't even thought about. We ain't even thought about it. But think about this. A lot of us were raised by lukewarm parents. Think about that. Like, how many of our parents are married? Let's start there. How many of our parents got married first? We wouldn't be here. A lot of us, probably 50, 60, 70, 80, 90% of us wouldn't be here if that was the case. If our parents were obedient, we wouldn't be here. Drunkenness. Now, obviously, it's not a sin to drink, just period. But you know, it says it's a sin in the Bible, like to just be like sloppily drunk, just a drunken mess. That's a sin. So many other things that I can list, that I can name, that's a sin. Like I said, we were raised by lukewarm parents. We grew up with lukewarm siblings. We hung out with our lukewarm cousins. We were, you know, our lukewarm uncles, you know, and aunties. They babysat us, you know what I'm saying? Like, it goes on, you know. We surrounded by lukewarm people. It's to a point now where it's like those that are really trying to be serious about Christ, really trying to walk with him, those people are looked at crazy because they too serious about God. And there's no such thing as being too serious. I was talking to my best friend like a month ago on the phone, and she said something was so funny. My grandmother, she passed away last year, and she made this joke. She said, we already know where she went. She got there on the fast track. She got there first class ticket. Like, she got her a first class ticket on the fast track. We already know where she went, right? Talking about heaven. And I genuinely found that funny. But later on, after that conversation, I thought to myself, like, I want my best friend, I want my family to be that sure about me and where I'm going. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to wait until I'm 50, 60, 70 to try and get right with God and to be close to him, because I don't know the verse. I don't know the exact verse, but I know it says somewhere in the Bible about, you know, God saying, you know, he never knew you. I don't want God to say that about me. I want to know that, you know, whether I die in 30 years, whether it's in 30 years or in the next 30 minutes, I want to be that confident. You know what I'm saying? Just like my best friend was confident in where my grandma went, that's how confident I want to be in my position too. I want to be confident and know that I'm going to heaven. A lot of us assume like we going to heaven. Who are we to assume that we going to heaven and we live in the way we living? We not really living for God. We're not really following God. We're not really reading his word. We're not spreading the gospel. We're not, the list goes, it's so much, you know what I'm saying? Like, how arrogant of us to think like, oh, I'm going to heaven. Like, I'm a decent person, I'm going to heaven. Like really think about that for a second. That's a really arrogant thought. And you ain't even put the work in. You ain't even done half. You ain't even done a fourth, a tenth of what you're supposed to be doing as a woman of God or a man of God, as a person of the kingdom. You ain't done half of what you're supposed to do. I'm not saying any of what I'm saying to like pass judgment on anybody or talk down on people or make it seem like I'm better than or above or greater. I am not doing none of that. I ain't here for none of that. But I just want to tell my truth. I just want to tell my opinion and tell my observation of all of this, because I feel like it's important. It's somebody out here that might need to hear it. It might click, you know, like, you know how somebody can say something and that person don't understand, but they go to somebody else and hear that same thing and it just click, and it's like, I told you that, but they didn't understand because for whatever reason they needed to hear it from somebody else. There's so many people speaking on this topic, but like I said, I want to share my 2 cents on lukewarm Christianity. I don't want to be lukewarm. I refuse to be lukewarm for God, for Christ. You know, I refuse. God ain't lukewarm about me. Tuh. Put it like that. Look at it like that. Is God lukewarm about you? Is he lukewarm about the way that he blesses you, the way that he carries you throughout, you know, your days? He's not lukewarm about you. So we gotta tighten up. We gotta stop being lukewarm for him. We need to be seeking him, seeking his face, especially us single women. We can be so caught up in a man this, man that, man. Who gonna bless us with that man that we so desperate for? God himself. He's the one. God needs to fill that void that we feel, that we think a man needs to fill it. It needs to be God. A lot of us, we're not seeking God enough. Men too, but I'm obviously speaking because I'm a woman. We don't seek God as hard as we trying to seek our husband, our man. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't seek God hard enough. And that's where our mind should be at. The Bible, y'all, is so intimidating. It's so intimidating, in my opinion. It's so intimidating because it's such a big book. There's so many just principles and lessons to be learned, and it's just so much to hold on to. It's so much information to have to hold on to, and I feel like if I don't hold on to all of it, then I'm like a bad person. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but it's just like, that's how on fire I want to be for God. Like, I truly want to know him, you know. I think about right now in this moment, right? I'm 29 years old. I think about all the mercy and the grace that I've already been shown for not seeking him, for committing all these sins. That's something that I literally have overlooked, and I think I've overlooked and I've taken it for granted. I thank him for that. I thank him. Every time I went back to seek his face, he had his arms wide open waiting for me. I feel like it's really nothing more I can say. I don't want to repeat myself, but like I said, my perspective is totally different now as a woman versus looking at the relationship that I was forced to have. You know what I'm saying? Just as a kid, dragging along with my mama. It's totally different than being a grown woman, having a free will to follow Christ in the way that you know you're supposed to to really seek his face, his love, to really know his word, y'all. Like, I want to be like my grandma. When I say, I said a prayer, and I think this is my first time ever saying this publicly. I said this prayer when I was only 5 years old. God gave me the gift of discernment when I was only 5 years old to see the vessel that my grandmother was to people. I remember before I went to bed, I said goodnight. I said, "Good night, Grandma, I love you." She said, "Good night, sweetie face, love you too." And I closed my door, and I immediately got down on my knees and I prayed, and I said, "Lord, make me like my grandma." And in so many ways, he's done that, and he's still doing that. Day in and day out, he's still doing that. He's still working on me. And I'm grateful that he's working on me now, spiritually, to get tight with him. My grandma had like the best relationship with God. The absolute best. Like, the way that she could tell any story in the Bible without having to open her Bible. She could tell you the story of Job, the story of Joseph, the story of David, just anybody. She was so knowledgeable, and of course I have to give myself grace to and understand that took her time as well. You know what I'm saying? She passed away when she was, I believe, 75, 76. So she had all them years to keep all that knowledge, you know what I'm saying, in her brain. So I understand I gotta show myself a little grace, but I want to be like her right now. That's where I want to be, like today. Because like I said, regardless if God take me 30 years from now or in the next 30 minutes, I want to be for sure my spot in heaven. I want to know that's me. Like, I got a seat right there next to her. You know what we have to do, y'all? We have to stop. It's uncomfortable. You know what too? I know that it's uncomfortable to change, but change is necessary for growth. And a lot of us, we so used to the music that we listen to. We so used to fornicating. We so used to cursing. We're so used to it. Going back to what I said earlier, because that's what was around us. Our parents, our siblings, our cousins, our aunties, our uncles, all of it was around us. And we all labeled ourselves Christians, but yet we doing all this flagrant stuff. Like, it's not funny, but I'm just saying, like, we doing all this flagrant stuff, playing with God. And we've been so used to doing it that we think it's normal, or we think it's okay, we think it's acceptable. But we truly need to check ourselves. Being a Christian ain't boring. Being a Christian ain't lame. It's not. You have to care more about being intentional and purposeful with your life than trying to keep it with the Joneses and be cool and do this. Because when Judgment Day comes, it ain't going to be about who cool and who ain't. It's going to be about, you knew my principles and you still decided to do what you wanted to do. That's what it's about. I got this ring. It's a purity ring. I've been sexually abstinent for going on 5 years. This year, it'll be 5 years. I don't listen to rap for real, like hip hop, especially now. I'll listen to like old school, cause old school rap is cool. Old school hip hop, I'm talking about like like Poison or like Supersonic, or obviously Michael Jackson, stuff like that. I still listen to, but the stuff that I used to listen to, the artists that I used to listen to. I'm talking about, I used to love Moneybagg. I used to love Lil Baby. I used to love Drake, Chris Brown, all them. But I feel convicted now listening to them, as I should, because my focus is Christ. My focus is God. Sorry, I know that's something that people don't really want to hear, but that's the truth. It's some things you have to give up. Some things you have to stop listening to, stop doing, stop following. I had to decide which was more important, God or these people, God or these streams, God or these likes, God or these comments. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to really look at, okay, what's more important here? What's more valuable to me? Cursing. Oh, child. I'm trying to work. I'm trying my hardest to stop cursing. I want to elaborate more on the music too, because music is really psychological. It's really a psychological aspect to music. That's why different genres make us feel different emotions. And when I think about it, I just thought about something else that I can touch on. Christian rap. I'm on the fence about Christian rap because certain songs be cool, but if you sampling a song that was a secular song, you really can't put nothing gospel on it. Like, you can't put nothing about Christ on top of a secular beat. Like, when I think about God, when I think about Jesus, and I'm being so for real right now. I'm not even faking no funk for y'all. I'm being so, when I think about the goodness of God, I don't think about being all rah-rah and hard and tough and like I'm finna go, you know, do something to somebody. That's not the feeling that I want evoked out of me. When I think about the goodness of God and Jesus, like, that's kind of weird to me. That's why I said it's psychological. That's why different genres make you feel different ways. Rap, hip-hop, trap, and make you feel like, you know, like rah-rah, hard and stuff. Jazz, blues, R&B. It makes you feel calm. It's soothing. It's relaxing. So it's like, that's the feeling that I want to get when I think about God, when I think about Jesus, when I think about how good my life is. I don't want to feel like that's not the feeling I want to have. At some point, you should be tired of just listening to nonsense. At some point, you should be tired of at some point your ears should be like, ooh, when you hear too much cussing. At some point, you should care about, you know, being modest a little bit in the way you dress. All of it, you know what I'm saying? Like, just the list goes on. And I'm gonna say it again, I'm gonna keep saying it. I ain't perfect. I don't think I'm better than nobody. I don't think I'm above anybody. I'm just letting y'all know my growth, you know what I'm saying? My truth, my observation, my opinion, how much I've grown. Y'all want to know a good way to get y'all out of listening to secular music? Listen to Lofi. I think that's how you pronounce it. Listen to Lofi music with no lyrics. Lofi has no lyrics at all. It's just straight instrumentals. And Lofi has different genres too. Lofi has hip-hop, jazz, studying music, rain, you know. But like I said, even the hip-hop, it's no lyrics. It's just straight soothing beats. I promise, it took me probably, I think like maybe 1 week. I took one whole week of just listening to Lofi. I listened to it at work, I listened to it in the car, I listened to it at home while I was cleaning. And after just that 1 week, I didn't even want to hear a song with a word in it. I didn't want to hear it. I love Lofi. If rap is your chokehold, if rap has you in a chokehold, listen to Lofi. If lust is what has you in a chokehold, go to sleep early. And I'm laughing, but I'm being so serious, because when you think about it, your lust, that spirit only heightens at nighttime. That spirit, that feeling only heightens because you forcing yourself to stay up late. Think about it. Think about it. Like I said, it's been 5 years, almost 5 years since I've had sex. And I can't tell you how many months it's been since I've, you know, I'm gonna say entertain myself. I'm gonna say it in that way. Because I ain't trying to get this video taken down, or, you know, be inappropriate or be too graphic. But yeah, I can't tell you how many months it's been, because I don't fight sleep. It's something as simple as that. Not fighting your sleep. Go to bed. Unfollow people. Unfriend people. All they posting is they body. All they posting is this and that, like this vulgar stuff. That's not your wife. That's not your husband. That's not somebody that you really see yourself with. Why you following that? Why you looking at that? Trash. It's straight trash. Utter trash. We have to filter our minds from the BS. If we say that we want growth, we have to act on it. We can't keep saying it and not doing nothing about it. It makes no sense. Cursing has you in chokehold. This is what I start doing. Like I said, I ain't perfect. I'm still working on cursing, but this is what I do. I have a colleague that I go to church with. She's the one that got me back in church. One of my colleagues, she's the one that got me back in church. She does not curse. So I either think about her or I think about my grandmother. Every person that I'm talking to, I put myself in the mind frame that I'm speaking to, like I said, that colleague, or I'm speaking to my grandmother. And that helps me to watch my mouth. Envision every person as the person that you have the utmost respect for. If you can't stop cursing, envision every single person you talk to. I don't care how old they are, how young they are, you know, woman, man, boy, I don't care. Envision every single person you have a conversation with as the person that you have the utmost respect for, and you would never want to offend them. Watch how fast you watch your mouth. Honestly, I don't know what else to touch on. I don't know what else might have you in a chokehold other than cursing, secular music, lust, being more modest in the way you dress. You know, you can be sexy and be modest. Look at the Muslim women. Oh my God, look at how beautiful. And I'm not saying it like I'm not saying it like, you know, they're above or better than anybody, but I'm just saying that's the definition of modesty. They are modest to the T. Literally can't see anything but their face. Some of them only their eyes. And they still look beautiful in their garments. So if they can do it, anybody can do it. Anybody can dress more modest. Anybody can be more modest and still attract a person, you know? So, yeah. I really don't think there's anything else for me to say. I know this video is long, but I hope it resonates with somebody. I hope somebody takes heed to what I said. I hope it was important to somebody. I hope it was confirmation to somebody. You know, that, you know, you need to change. No judgment. Not for me. Just trying to drop, some gems. That's all. But no judgment from me at all whatsoever. And I'm actually happy that I got out in the park today. I was gonna sit in my apartment. I was actually gonna go to the pool in my apartment complex, but I'm like, you know what? No. I'm gonna go all the way to the park. And I'm going to set up my camera. I'm not gonna care what people think about me. Because people been looking. They've been looking at me crazy and laughing at me, but I don't care. I'm gonna get some of this good sun and shade at the same time. And speak my peace. Speak my peace. Because I've been saying, whatever God want me to speak on, whatever he put right here, I'm going to speak on it. Oh my gosh. It was a hummingbird. Like right here. Like right here in my face. I was finna poke my eye out. Again, my name is Mashaya. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, thank you so much. I appreciate you always tuning in. Thank you so much for 300 subscribers. I am so grateful. That is a lot of people. That's a lot. 300 is a lot. I'm not going to compare myself to anybody else. 300 is a lot of people. 30 people is a lot of people. Because I can't talk in front of... If 30 people were in my face right now, I probably wouldn't be able to talk to them. So, 300 people is a lot of people. And I'm very grateful. Very thankful. And I hope my community continues to grow. And I want my community to be filled with God-fearing people. I want my community to be filled with nothing but God-fearing people. People who are living purposefully and intentionally. And they just so full of joy and peace. And prosperity. That's it. That's all I want to attract. That's why, that's all that I put out. You attract what you are. And so that's why I'm intentional about what I post, what I talk about, what I speak on. Because I want to build the right community on my channel. So, I'm done rambling. And I will see y'all in the next video. Have a wonderful day.